Okay, so let's open up to the introduction, and we are focusing on fact and opinion in this first part, right? And did everybody get a chance to read the introduction?
Yeah.
And first of all, before we talk about this, what do you know about fact compared to opinion? Lizzie?
A fact doesn't have to be true, but it just needs to be something that you can prove. An opinion is like it's something that you can feel instead of like prove. Like you can feel like excited.
Okay. Can an opinion be based on what you think and not what she thinks?
Yeah.
Can opinion be wrong?
No.
So you say it's
Your
warm in
opinion.
here, and that's your opinion. You say it's cold in here, that's your opinion. Is one of you wrong? No. So we know that opinions are how you feel. Okay? Let's look at what you have for the fact and opinions that you wrote down. Okay, and based on what we saw on page 2 in the introduction, who would like to share first? Go ahead, Logan.
I have my fact is past laws keep black from voting.
Okay.
My opinion is they also have to be very determined, it said.
Who they? Who they?
It
Who is they?
said they had, African Americans had to be very determined.
Okay, so that's an opinion. They also have to be very determined, so let's change that so that we know who this is, okay? Okay, my pen is broken. Okay, who would like to share now? Okay, go ahead, Addie.
My fact is the Civil War ended in 1865.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion is many people thought African Americans should be separate.
Okay, definitely an opinion, isn't it? Okay, go ahead, Abs.
The fact is, when the Civil War finished, the slaves were all freed. And my opinion is, people's opinions stayed the same when the laws changed. Stayed the same when the laws changed.
So people's opinions stayed the same when the laws changed. Now, is that an opinion?
No, now that I know that,
Okay, if you had to rewrite that to make it an opinion, what would you do?
they felt they didn't think it should be that way when the laws changed. The whites didn't think that it should be that way.
So the opinion would be that some people thought that the laws should change.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and fix that. Lizzie?
My fact is 1865 African Americans began to vote.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then my opinion, white folks still kept the same thoughts about African Americans or other colored people.
Okay, is that an opinion?
Well, yeah, because they still wanted them to be separate.
So,
Separated.
so that is a fact, isn't it? So how could we change that to make it an opinion?
Well, it's kind of...
You could do
What you're stating there is true, that white folks still kept, what did you say? The same thoughts about African Americans.
Or other colors.
Okay, so that's a fact, that there were people who kept that feeling. So you would say, you might add some words to change that into an opinion, like Abby's going to change hers. We're going to come back to you in just a minute. Do you have a fact?
My fact is that laws changed,
Laws changed.
and my opinion is some people thought African Americans shouldn't get to vote.
That's true, though, isn't it? So how can we write that as an opinion? Because we do know that some people thought that African Americans... What is this word right here? Right here.
Oh, wait, this?
Mm-hmm. Some people thought African Americans what?
Shouldn't.
Okay, and that's true. So how can we rewrite that to make it an opinion? That is true. That's a fact. Some people did think that. So we're going to come back to that. What do you have for your fact?
In 1965, African Americans truly got the right to vote.
Okay, that's true.
And then African Americans, then I changed it to African Americans had to find strong leaders and follow them.
That's true. did they, maybe we can change that to African Americans,
Follow strong leaders.
and then the part of that that would be opinion would be this word, the strong word, because there were some leaders that weren't strong, they were weak or they were negative. So that would change that to an opinion. Okay, what have you got for fact?
In 1965, African Americans got to truly vote, and my opinion is whites in America thought that blacks shouldn't vote.
There were some whites in America. What you have here is stating that if you say whites, you're saying that all whites in America thought that blacks shouldn't vote. So how can we change that to make an opinion?
I thought that kind of was an opinion because people thought that blacks shouldn't vote.
But what you have here is that all whites in America thought that blacks shouldn't vote.
Okay, I should change that.
So we have to change this so that it's an opinion.
Okay.
Okay? Who's fixing?
I
What did you do?
Some whites thought blacks should be separated even when the laws changed.
There's an opinion. There's an opinion. Okay? Did you fix yours yet? No? You're still thinking about it?
I thought about mine, but I didn't know if it would work. I said African Americans felt many different emotions during this time.
There's an opinion. Okay, you're still thinking? What'd you do?
I just put some in there.
Some whites in America thought that blacks shouldn't vote.
So,
Okay? Okay, we'll use that. And what did you change?
Yeah, I think African Americans had to find strong leaders to follow instead of weak.
Okay? And you're still thinking? Okay, we'll come back to you. And are you finished? What'd you decide?
African Americans felt many different emotions during this time.
Okay, let's go with that for now. Okay? All right, let's go to chapter 1. Where's my book? Did somebody take my book? There it is. There it is. Okay. Have we already gone over the text features for chapter 1? Okay. All right, let's look at the first 2 paragraphs on page 4. And we've talked a little bit about this, but I want you to read the first 2 paragraphs. And while you're reading, I want you to find out what are amendments and think about another time when you might make an amendment to something other than the Constitution. Okay? So read the first 2 paragraphs and you're going to find out what are amendments and when might be another time when you would make an amendment to something. Yes?
It said back here that it usually has to do with the Constitution. Couldn't an amendment, like if you wanted to like lower down a little bit, like can you do it just like for your life?
So what in your life? So what in your life might you make an amendment to? So go ahead and read those first 2 paragraphs. How are we doing?
Just says men. Just says African American men to vote, not women.
Isn't that interesting?
Hasn't passed yet.
Okay, is everybody finished with those first 2 paragraphs? Okay. What are amendments? Abs.
Like important changes to the Constitution, like they're adding to the Constitution, or like changing a couple things on there.
Okay. And when they make the changes, we hope that the changes are going to improve
Yeah.
the Constitution. So in this case, amendments are going to be improvements to the Constitution. And what is the Constitution? Evan.
It's an important American document.
And what is in that important American document?
Some of our laws. Our laws.
Our laws, the laws that govern our country, right? And so we had to make some important improvements when we made these amendments. Now, can you think of a time in your life or a reason in your life why you might have an amendment or you might make an amendment? Lizzie?
Well, this one you can't really stop. Like, when you grow, like, you have to change the size of your clothes. Like, that's an amendment.
Okay. You amend the size of your clothes. You change the size of your clothes. Very good. Can you think of another amendment that you might make, Abs?
Like when you were little, if like you had a little brother or sister, like your mom had a little brother or sister, that would be like an amendment to your family.
That would be a change, and that would be an improvement, we hope, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of a time when you might have an amendment in your life, Ava?
Yeah. If you were an author and you wrote a book and then you could change some of it, that'd make the book better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That would be a new edition, and that would have amendments in it that would make the book better. Can you think of anything, Mallory?
Yeah, getting a dog, kind of. That'd be an amendment because you're like adding someone to your new to your family.
And you hope it's an improvement?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like for responsibility.
Oh, good. That would be a good example here. Logan.
Kind of like what Abby said, but instead of adding, like if somebody died in your family, it'd be a change because you're going to lose somebody in your family.
That would be a change, wouldn't it? I hope it's not an improvement.
Nope.
Addie.
Like when you grow, like there's like new things in the world, like so like then you know more stuff. Well, wait.
Like
Okay.
the end of slavery, that's new.
Like that's new.
Like it's an improvement.
So if we got rid of slavery, that would be an improvement to our country?
Yeah.
That would be an amendment? So can you think of anything that's closer to you that might be an amendment? Can I come back to you? I'm going to come back to you. Abs, you have another one?
Yeah, sometimes like they take like classic movies like The Lion King movies and they change them a little bit so they fit better. Like they might change like the smoothness of it so it looks better.
So, amendments, changes to improve it. Lizzie.
What if you like add something onto your house? Like house, like if you're adding a room or something like it.
If you add a new bedroom or you add another bathroom, you make an amendment to your house to improve it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's say that I'm making cookies, and I really like chocolate chip cookies. And I want to make an amendment that I think is going to improve my recipe. What might I do to that recipe? Now, you know me pretty well. What do you think I might do to amend that recipe to make it improved? Addie?
Put M&Ms in it.
Put M&Ms in it. That would make it improved, and that's an amendment, isn't it? It's a change for improvement. Can you think of anything else I might do, Abby?
Double the chocolate chip.
Absolutely. Double the chocolate chips. What else might I do, Evan?
Double the recipe and double the chocolate chips.
Okay, so we get twice as many, and we get twice as much chocolate. I'm all for it. What do you think, Mallory?
Double like the flour to make it like fluffier maybe.
Okay. So, an improvement, a change to hopefully improve my cookies. You think of another one?
Instead of just having plain cookie dough, maybe adding a little bit of chocolate.
Oh.
So it's like one of those domino cookies.
Yeah.
Like white
double
chocolate chips and then like white chocolate chips and then like a
Or
chocolate
like
cookie.
sprinkles. Or
So-
like sprinkles on it. Like
So when we make amendments, we try to improve things, don't we? Okay. So when I looked at the word amendment, I wondered what else was in amend. Have you ever made amends with someone? Amends? Have you ever made amends?
I've heard that.
Have you ever heard of that expression, to make amends?
Yeah.
Do you know what that's about, Mallory?
I think you're like maybe making it better, like with a friend.
Okay, what might have happened out on the playground yesterday, and that today you have to make amends with your friend? Can you think of what might have happened? A fight, okay? And then if you want to make amends, now you know what amendment means. If you make amends, what are you going to do?
Fix it. Like,
You're going to fix it.
Yeah.
You might apologize. You're going to make it better. Maybe you had a fight and you have to improve your relationship. That's what make amends is all about. Okay, I need a volunteer to look on page 5 in that text feature at the top of the page and read that for me, and somebody else is going to volunteer to tell me what that means. Okay, Evan, would you read that for us?
The right of citizens of the United States shall not be denied on account for a race, color, or previous condition of servitude.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
15th Amendment.
Okay, let's pick it apart and figure out what it means. The right of citizens of the United States shall not be denied on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Pick it apart for us, Lizzie.
I just see the word segregation. Like, because, like, it means you're not going to be judged on your color, your race, your color, or previous condition of servitude. Like, you're not going to be judged on the things you've done, the color of your skin, or, like, the race you are.
Okay, so the color of your skin is not going to determine things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then it says, or previous condition of servitude. What is that?
Doesn't that mean, like serve? Like, I think of, like, servant.
Uh-huh.
So I would be like, if you served someone, like if you were worked for someone,
Okay.
or like a slave or something.
Oh, there it is right there. So previous condition of being a slave would be the condition of servitude. And if we know this is the 15th Amendment, what does it say on page 4 about the 15th Amendment? Ava?
It said that it gave all the African American men the right to vote.
The right to vote. So if we know that this is the 15th Amendment and we know that you can't be denied because of your color, or if you were a slave, this is all about what's happened with the 15th Amendment. So because you are a person of color, you can't be denied the rights of everybody else, right? And if you were a slave, you can't be denied the rights of everybody else, right? That's what the 15th Amendment is. It's pretty powerful. Yes, sir.
I thought that by servitude, I thought it meant sort of like say from another country, like you served in a different army. That's what I thought.
Oh.
Like,
Because it has like service.
served against somebody that the U.S. fought.
Mm-hmm. And I can see where you would think that because we know about the word service, meaning military service. In this case, it's about what Lizzie said about slavery. Yes. Yes.
I thought it meant like if you like had debt because of previous condition, like maybe your debt, like if you owed someone something.
And why are you thinking about debt?
Because previous condition of servitude. Because I thought it meant debt. Before you told us what it meant, like, so if you owed someone, they might be still mad. And they might judge. They might, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it's not that. It's that you used to be a slave and now you're not, but you can't be denied because you used to be a slave. Okay. On page 5, I want you to read the first 2 paragraphs, and I want you to figure out what war they're talking about and what did some northern people think should happen to southern people who supported slavery after the war was over. So 2 things. What war and what did northern people think should happen to southern people who supported slavery? Okay, are we done?
Kind of nice having that timeline there.
It is helpful, isn't it? It reminds you of where we are.
Yeah.
And there it is right there. Okay? You see it right in the middle. All right, everybody done? Do you know what war we're talking about? It says the Northerners had won the war. What war? What war are we talking about, Ava? The Civil War. Okay. Now, what did some Southerners think should happen to this? What did some Northerners think should happen to the Southerners who had supported slavery? Logan. They should be punished. Why would Northerners think that those people should be punished who had slaves in the South? Logan?
Because this was after the war, so they wanted to change, but some of the Southerners still wanted slavery.
Why did they want slavery in the South? Why did they want to continue to have slavery? Addie?
Because they didn't want like the African Americans to they didn't want them to like invade and like their privacy, and like they didn't want them to be
The Northerners didn't want the Southerners didn't want?
They didn't want the African Americans to be all like I don't know.
Okay.
Like
Can I ask Abby about this? Abby, what do you think?
Like, they didn't want the African Americans.
Okay, they who?
The white. Like, the Southerners.
The Southern white people?
Yeah, some
did-
of them, not all.
Okay. Some of the Southern
didn't-
white people
They didn't want the African Americans out, because they figured that if they got out,
Out of where?
like slavery, like out of the area,
Okay.
that they would get treated equally by everybody, and they wanted to stop that from happening.
So that some Southern people did not want the African American slaves to be treated equally.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Lizzie.
I agree with Abby, but there's like more to add on, I think, to the reason. So like they didn't want some Southern white people didn't think that they should get like the equal treatment
Okay.
because of their skin color. They still believe that, and or they just wanted to keep getting that help because like they were just greedy. Or, like,
Okay.
just keeping the help.
Okay. And aren't the people in the South usually running huge farms,
right, so
and
they
they
need
need a lot of help. Yeah. So they still need that support, or else they're not going to be able to get their crops taken care of. And if they don't have slaves anymore,
They have to do the work themselves.
they have to do the work themselves, or they have to hire people to do the work that the slaves used to do.
But who would want to do that? Because the white people think that they're so much better. So like, who's gonna do that? And
Who's
the
gonna do
African
it?
American people are definitely not gonna go back.
Yeah.
So like, they can either like foreclose the farm, or they have to do it themselves.
So you can see it. This is going to be a problem, isn't it?
Right.
Okay. What do you know, Mallory?
Sorry. South, we wanted to end slavery to end because they thought it also was like too much change too soon.
And that was a big problem.
Yeah.
And there were some people who came from the north down to the south, and they wanted to make a whole lot of changes quickly, and they were not very honest people.
Yeah.
Some of those people who came from the north to the south. Yes.
I was gonna say they had big plantations and no one really wanted to work on them, and it would be kind of worth the money they might pay.
So if you're going to pay people to work on your plantation, you're going to have to pay them.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have to pay them instead of having slaves. You're going to have to pay them money.
These slaves are
A
probably going
wage.
to tell them like all these horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wasn't pleasant.
Annie?
they thought like they might have had a lot of kids and they couldn't take care of them all by themselves, so the Southern people probably like wanted people to take care of them, but they didn't.
So they still need help, whether it's out in the fields or whether it's in their homes, right? So they still need to have help. But now we've got all these African Americans who have been freed, and they don't have this help anymore. Yes?
some rights, like were like they didn't want to do stuff, like they didn't want to get up and cook dinner. They didn't want to get up, like if they wanted another glass of water, they just wanted to, hey, get over here, give me this.
They were just used to being like
Yeah.
served.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like they don't know how to do anything.
spoiled in a way.
Okay, turn the page. We're going to read the first 3 paragraphs, short paragraphs. And when you're reading, I want you to find out, what did the black codes do? The black codes. In a nutshell, in 1 or 2 sentences, tell me, what did the black codes do? Ava.
They kept the blacks from getting their rights.
And wasn't the big right that they got after the Civil War was over that they were given their freedom? And this took away their freedoms, didn't it? It says that the national government said that this was not right to take the freedoms away from the African Americans. So, what did the federal government do to make sure that the African Americans had their rights? Lizzie.
And it says in here that the officers like kept the order, so they kind of like went over there.
So who went over where?
The officers.
So soldiers,
Right.
military.
They went over and just basically made them. Like,
Mhm.
give
They
them
made
the-
them.
They made them give rights back to the
They made them give
African-Americans.
rights.
And it says for a few years African Americans voted.
And that's very
Did they
interesting.
stop? Because aren't the officers kind of like fighting them to get their rights back?
So they're trying to force them to give their rights back. And it says for a few years, African Americans voted.
And then it just stops.
Then
Like
it
they don't
stops.
talk about it anymore.
And so what
like,
happened?
I kind of got confused.
What happened? This might be something that you're going to find out when we do our research project.
Like
Well,
that.
it said they help
It's just a paper.
officers in their states too. Oh, I guess this is people.
So it says African Americans held offices in their states too, and progress was in the air. But what is this about what Lizzie said? For a few years, African Americans voted.
And then like it totally just goes to some other subject. It gives us like 7 words and it just
They helped elect their leaders. Okay, so that means they must have voted. Some African Americans were elected to legislature or Congress. So what does this mean? You might find out when you do your project. Okay, we have lots of choices here. And you can choose from these choices. And this is going to be a project that is going to be due on the 12th of December. And I want you to do the research to find out who, what, where, when, as much as you can. That's going to
Word.
you can, and you're just going to type it for now, okay? Because then we're going to take it another step after we get the preliminary research done, okay? All right.
So we're not gonna do a PowerPoint.
We're just going to do the research first. So you're going to say, Mrs. Kadlec, I don't know what some of these things are. Well, that's why we're going to do research. Some of these probably look familiar. I know you know. Marian Anderson is really familiar because we saw that video on her the other day.
yeah, the singing girl.
That's the singing lady. Okay.
I wanna do her.
Anybody want to take one? Take whatever you like.
Where's Booker T. Washington?
Here's Booker T.
Can I look back at this? I'm gonna do a video if we do a PowerPoint.
Okay, everybody has something? Anybody want to change?
Wait, is there 14?
There's a 13.
There's 13.
No, I had to look back. There's 14.
I was
Okay.
gonna get this at first, but then
There's
I like Marion and
I'll take WEB. I don't know what it stands for.
Neither do
I know who Jack
Okay.
Robinson is.
Wait, what is Ku Klux Klan?
What is the Ku Klux? You want the Ku Klux Klan?
Isn't that like a train or something? Like,
Is it a train?
Yeah.
I don't know. Evan's going to do some work on that.
I think it's like a train for orphans.
Ku Klux Klan?
Yeah, didn't we read a book about it in fourth grade?
Okay.
I thought we did.
So is everybody good? Anybody want to change?
Nope, I'm good.
Everybody good? All right. Now, this is due when?
On December 12th.
On December the 12th. Now, the thing that I want you to do for tomorrow is I want you to read page 7 and chapter 2. And in your list of fact and opinion, I want you to come up with 2 facts and form 2 opinions.
So we have 5 pages.
Okay? Are there any questions about what you're doing?
I have.
Yes.
So, do we need to write a rough draft in our spiral first before we type down work?
I think I would.
Okay.
It'll save you a lot of time. Okay? Anybody else have a question? Everybody good? And everybody good with their choice? All right.
we read this today.
So you're going to read 7 and chapter 2. Chapter 2 is really short. And you're going to add to this chart a fact and opinion.
Okay.
Okay? All right? Okay, we are done. The lesson that I was doing was working on fact and opinion, and we were also looking at trying to develop some, get at their prior knowledge and think about what they know about the text, within the text, and beyond the text in particular, because this group was really a high-functioning group, and I wanted to see how much they knew and how much I needed to fill in. Well, I was trying to connect what we had already discussed in social studies and how they were reflecting on what they had in their timeline. So when they referred to the timeline, that was telling me that they were starting to make these connections. And so as we in 5th grade are working on a lot of things leading up to the development of our country, I thought that was important for them, for me to see what they knew about the connections, and that it's important to have some timeline going so that they can make those connections.